Hi, welcome back. So we are looking at the revolution review, the predictions and pitch review. That how our pitches and predictions have turned out, and we talk about the AW revolution. So now going on here. So in the first match from the 0 hour is Boom and Doom versus Infantry, and the Boom and Doom won as we predicted. So we haven't had any pitch for here because this is kind of thrown together celebrity match that's kind of like to like get the crowd going to like to get the kind of set the kind of the environment for the pay-per-view to the main card. So yes, so actually going forward they would be have been random appearances, mostly in tag matches, as you can see here. So that's the main one. So as you can see, okay. Now from the T-based championship, now the Willow Nightingale defeats Colossal Lina Cross. Now actually we pitched Lina Cross to go over here, but Willow actually retained. And as here, this is kind of a setup to the tag match later on. Actually, we are going to talk about that in the next part. So in here, I would say that Willow would drop the TBS title to Megan Bain or Lena Cross. So we are pitching on Lena Cross, but most let's say most predictable answer would be Megan Bain. Or maybe since they are tag team champions, they would not do the double championship and go with someone else entirely. So in that, but she will would focus on the women's championship and go for the Owen Hart Cup, and then actually face Tekla and win the championship from at All In. So I would say that would be a great draw at All In to actually one of the bigger matches they can actually do there. Yes. Now moving on to the 0 hour, the Blackjack Battle Royal. So yes, Jack Sperry eliminated Ricochet to win the national title. Uh, yes, so this was a bit different than I expected. So actually, I expected like the Ricochet to retain, and also I'm expecting that the Ricochet would come in later, kind of when others have started on the battle royal, but he was at the start. So actually, what he was saying is right. Is kind of like a setup for him to lose, like kind of what you say unfair on his part. So actually, Jungle Jack Perry won. So it's kind of a good moment for hometown crowd because if you can see if you know the aftermath because we are talking about other matches. So this was a good moment for the hometown crowd because in going forward we are going to see something else. So I would say our next piece is to actually Jack Perry talked about this, kind of like mentioned it. I don't know if you're gonna pull the plug on it, but I would say since the national championship is kind of like the championship for like territories back in the day, kind of Jack Perry now he has a cool bus, and also he could go around USA, go to the Indies, kind of defend the title, kind of a good story in that way, in that aspect. So then this championship would have meaning, like other than just not just a prop for Ricochet to like to carry around, and this would kind of solve the kind of like the title fatigue. Like if they are like people are saying there are lot of titles, but so since this one has a very specific purpose, I would say that it's like the kind of solves the problem in a way, because I would say the same would go for the international championship, because the international championship wasn't defended here. It wasn't like defended regularly at all. So there was a one random kind of defense with Adam Priest, kind of again that didn't win anywhere also. So yes, we can talk about that later. Yes. Now, yes. So as kind of yes, in here now. So Jungle Jack Perry and Ricochet were the last two people. So it's kind of mainly kind of obvious on that part, and it's kind of like, you know, it's kind of a story build, kind of like kind of like a plot convenience on a story, like how would they how would those two would survive, like in exactly like this kind of thing. But this is good in other ways. So Jungle Jack Perry won, you know, as a part of the hometown crowd, and he would might go kind of defend it in other indies. You know, he have a cool boss. That's one of the mainstays for this kind of, you know, one of the debuts. I think maybe they have done it before, but you know, it returned somehow. So maybe Luchasaurus might return also, with, you know, when he's kind of healed with all the shoulder injuries, I think. Yes. Now the World Tag Team Championship match. Now we have started the main card. Actually, we kind of spill over with the Blackjack Battle Royal into the main card. So this is kind of the proper match on the main card. So FTR win over Young Bucks. So in here, actually, we have predicted and featured, actually Young Bucks to retain, since there are new like heel tag teams that they can face off, like the Protocardas and all, kind of Rush and Realistico, and those. So maybe Grizzly and Atlas, they are a bit young, but they are like not on the top of the card, but they would have a good heel challenger. So that was kind of the pitch that we are looking at. But now since the Edge and Christian returned, so the FTR win is more appropriate, because now they can have a feud going forward. So most probably we are predicting that in Wrestle Dynasty, Edge and Christian would win, since it's in Canada, and so it's in their home country, not in exactly. I don't know if they are in the exact city also. So then, so they would kind of hold it until all in. Actually, they would be a babyface team. So actually, they can turn heel, and you know they can successfully turn heel, because they have, I would say, better than Young Bucks, because I haven't watched much of their kind of EVP run. So we actually know how Edge and Christian can do the bad guy part. So since now they are baby faces right now, and so they can be a baby face, and you know kind of put over a tag team as a babyface tag team. So sorry, heel tag team at All In, or they can turn heel and put up a babyface tag team at All In. So that's the kind of plan. So all the plans from here on out, I would say from Double or Nothing, they can actually, you know, start the starts the story of, you know, kind of like a road to All In, like, you know, what how WWE does with Road to WrestleMania, you know, starting from January. So this can be like kind of build up a story to All In, kind of like that's one of their biggest show now. Kind of, you know, their WrestleMania equivalent, uh, not actually equivalent, but kind of their biggest event. So like with the biggest crowd that they can handle. So that would be the thing. Yes. Now next we are looking at so yes, agent Christian Richard we talked about. Now yes, so Timeless Tony Storm defeats Marina Shafir. Yes, so we uh, again we have pitched and we expected kind of Marina Shafir to win since she's so kind of like to put over Marina Shafir and get her into like the title contentions, maybe TBS contention. So as we talk about kind of here, to then they can have like Marina actually win the TBS title, kind of because uh, she even she's the heel, she looks badass and all. She's kind of bit down at the card, down the card than Stony Storm, so it's kind of the time to elevate her. But in here, so actually Ronda Rousey debuted, and kind of a big surprise. So in terms of that, what next I would say, whatever. So for Tony Storm, she can actually if Rouse is wrestling somehow, she can face off with Tony Storm. Maybe both of them can go ahead with Tony Storm and some other big name. So Mina Shirakawa and Tony doesn't kind of hold that kind of gravitas in terms of these two people, kind of facing of these two. Uh, so that's kind of like not a exact pitch, but kind of we would assume, but Rousey might not be wrestling. This could be a one-off thing, but as in the aftermath, I would say uh, so if Rousey is not wrestling, I would say Tony Storm to move on, and Marina Shafir to move on to kind of face below and for the TBS title and win it, so that then she can put over someone else later on. Yes, so everyone but from ringside. Yes. Now we have the Continental title match with no time limit. So John Moxley defeats Takeshita. So in here, yes, yes. So we have predicted Moxley, and they have gone with Moxley. So actually, this is to kind of keep the rain going and Takeshita to have a roll out with Don Callis family. Because as going forward, because now Takeshita was kind of turning face because the Don Canley family wanted to attack John Moxley, kind of weaken him, maybe soften him up. Before the match, there was he was given a chair to attack Moxley, but he didn't. So he have shown of what you call face tendencies on that part, and actually at the end of the match, Moxley actually acknowledged him, extend his hand, and actually Takeshita was kind of ignored it at first, but then came back and embraced it. So in terms of that, I would say Takeshita would have fallout with Don Callis family. As in my prediction, I said that they would have a fallout, and they would actually Takeshita would walk away. That I need to be better, and I need to come back to actually kind of be better and win the championship my way without cheating. So that's on that part. So in terms of pitches, I would say Takeshita would to kind of move forward to I would say to bro kind of have a feud with Okada and kind of take the Okada's international championship away and kind of have regular defenses later on. And now after this match, we had a video package of Will Ospreay. He and actually he actually returned right after this match, and we went after uh, the Death Riders. So we had Moxley. So Moxley was already there. We had Pac, Utah, and Daniel Garcia actually came out like after Moxley winning, and kind of Will Ospreay attacked everyone, and so the Death Riders actually escaped from that because they couldn't dominate over Will Ospreay. Now since Will Ospreay is here, so I would say that Will Ospreay would start kind of feud with John Moxley. That kind of interesting dynamic because John Moxley has changed from like who he was like back in the day when when he faced kind of he kind of injured Will Ospreay back then. So, but actually, so he and John Moxley would have their feud going forward, and then actually then Will Ospreay to move on to World Championship picture and face MJF at All In. So that's kind of coming up later. Yes. Now we have yes. Now the World Tag Team Championship, the Divine Dominion, and yes, Babes of Wrath. So we were expecting the yes the Megan and Lena to win here because that was kind of like the kind of the obvious kind of like the obvious setup here. Yes, the obvious setup here. So that was the kind of the pitch and also the prediction because like we were like in our pitch we included so Lena to be the double champion. But so they were only the tag team champions here. So the story is like Willow is kind of exhausted and he actually got some kind of plasters here, kind of muscle adjustments, and she was cleared. But she, you can visibly see she's kind of tired, and she's like not even at a 50% kind of. That's how would I say. So in here. So the divine dominion once it actually the name was introduced here. So actually at this before before we are like when we are promoting the match we didn't have a team name. Um, we pitched Titan Towers didn't happen, but this is kind of good. This is they actually have like the god type names like god themes in terms of so like the Megasus, from Pegasus, so the colossal kind of those nicknames and all everything, and the theme which actually with the headdress and all the how they dress, it's kind of like the god themed. Yes. Now I would say the divine dominion to hold on the title and defending his babyface team and to face brawling birds at all in, and the brawling birds would win. So because they are like the new tag team because they have the two kind of established stars. So Jamie Hayter was a world champion at AEW, the women's world champion at AEW, and Alex Vince has a lot of other championship. They as a team they can be kind of a legible threat in terms of physicality to the Divine Dominion. So I would say they would have the reign until All In and drop to Brawling Birds. They are kind of like kind of the UK team. Yes. Now we go to Strickland defeats Brody King. So yes, that's the kind of as expected from there because I would say so. Strickland actually recently turned heel on Kenny Omega, and this was kind of to like establish his dominance, and he actually faced Brody King because Kenny Omega mentioned that Brody King was the most dangerous man. So like Swerve Strickland wanted to prove that Swerve Strickland is as himself is the most dangerous man. So that was kind of the premise for this match. So at the end of the match, Kenny Omega returned, kind of like after a month hiatus. So I would say they would kind of establish a rematch between Kenny Omega and Sir Strickland. So kind of I would say that he would face Kenny in like AEW Dynasty, and aftermath I would say he would go on with Hangman Page, and because since now Hangman can't, we can talk about like how Hangman is gonna fit in here. So then actually going over Edge and Christian at All In. So because now that's why we included them as a heel team mainly, because I don't believe that there are like kind of any like real highly established tag team there, because now we have the FTR and the Young Bucks, we have the Rascals and all. But I don't see like kind of like a big tech team that actually kind of take down Edge and Christian. Um, so I would say these two would kind of go over, because Hang again, we'll talk about how Hangman would fit into this, because Strickland kind of needs his gang, kind of. They would together would like they had a very intense feud. I would say they would together kind of wreak havoc, and that would be like kind of a whole different level at this thing. Yes, now going forward, now we have the Women's World Championship match, 2 out of 3 falls. So now the Tekla defeats Chris Statlander 2-1. 2 out of 3 falls. Yes, we expected Tekla to win. So since the Tekla's kind of championship reigns just started, so we are just having rematches as at this point. Uh, so actually, I would say. To kind of to Tekla to yes, to Tekla to go at all in like until all in. So like when we had the Willow pitch, now Willow would actually go to win the what you call the Owens Hart tournament, and then get the championship from Tekla, and kind of like in the name of his her friend, the, like Tekla can kind of taunt her, you see what I did to your friend, she's kind of go naval, and do you want to do have the same fate, that kind of storyline they can build up on it. At all in, I would say below would be like kind of the top baby face, kind of behind Tony Storm. So I would say like that would be kind of the match that we are going for. Maybe I don't know if Tony Storm would come in, and she wanted the championship also. uh, Tony Storm can be an option also. Kind of we'll discuss about later. We are actually planning kind of draft videos. Kind of yeah, we are starting with the first draft. We are like we are kind of changing it. Kind of gauging how everything would change. So that would be the aftermath, and the pitch would be here. Now we have the trios championship. Yes, the trios championship is yes, the Don Callis family versus Kevin Knight, Speedboat Mike Bailey, and Mystico. So we were expecting Don Callis family, not the expectation at most, but we predicted that Don Callis family would win. Since they have won it 2 weeks ago. But now the Jet Speed and Mystico won. because Mystico actually signed to All Elite Wrestling, probably on like the kind of what you say, a combined deal, a kind of joint venture deal, because a lot of the Mascara Dorada, Persephone, and others have actually have dual contracts. So I think Mystica would sign something like that as well. So he would be on here more often. So yes, I would say he would be a mainstay in trios tag teams, like the in tag team scene. Also, kind of challenge to like singles championship and put over other competitors. He's kind of he's most of a legend in CMLL. I would say in terms of that, he would be a great addition to the roster to like put over young talent, mentor young talent. Kind of elevate the young talent stock. Yeah. Yes. So we actually predicted Kevin Knight would turn heel, during Sterling. It's not happened. Maybe we see it down the line. We don't know. So mainly, if Hangman's doing it, it would it maybe would get delayed somehow. Yes. Now moving on to the next. Yes, we have the Andrade Lidlo versus Bandido. Oh, you haven't included that here. Okay, we missed it out somehow. Okay. Yes. So Andrade versus Bandido. So we expected actually Andrade to win. We haven't mentioned that here, but now it is because like now the Andrade is on the championship scene, but like he haven't got into the title contention yet. He didn't had a championship match yet, so I would say like he needs the wins to actually kind of. To keep his stock elevated at his level. So maybe since he won, might challenge for the Ring of Honor Championship. Might hold it for a while, but not sure on that part. Yeah, that's so. Yes, so we are moving on to yes. So the Tornado Trios match, you have Roderick Cassidy and Darby Allen versus Gabe Kidd, Clark Connors, and David Finlay. So in here we expected the dogs to win, but Darby, Orange, and Roderick won. So the conglomeration and Darby Allen. So this is to mainly, I would say, to continue the feud between Darby and Gabe Kidd. And so Orange and I think Roddy mentioned they're gonna be a tag team. So like I would say, like the Clark Connors and David Finlay would have their tag team, and Gabe Kidd and Darby Allen would have their kind of blood feud. Separately, so like kind of not as a trios going forward for like as for a bit time now. So that I would say is like the kind of main story going forward. This is kind of like the canon fodder of this kind of pay-per-view. I would say like if they didn't have time, or if they couldn't manage time, this would be out. But yes, so like didn't have much gravitas like the other matches. Yes, so we are at the main event now. We have the AEW World Championship and a Texas Jet match. So MJF defeated Hangman Adam Page. So yes, so we have predicted MJF somehow, because now we were planning to like Hangman to go over spiraling, that he lost it, like like he's kind of like he's not worthy. He's kind of he might kind of go attack people, go do some kinds of wreak havoc, maybe like so Strickland and come out, hey, join me, do let's do this thing, let's do as a tag team kind of thing, we could be the most dangerous tag team kind of story. So that's why I would included him and like facing Agent Christian and one winning the tag team titles and having that kind of run. So yes, I would say like maybe not until maybe double or nothing, maybe kind of afterwards, they would have their kind of singles feuds separately, but kind of going forward they would, we have a kind of like a slow burn into a, like making into a team, and then might we and all in. So that's the main part. So actually that's kind of so let's say it's like kind of they're not sure on that storyline how it goes. In terms of MJF, I would say he would retain until All In to and put over Will Ospreay, or maybe kind of at double of nothing he can actually put over Kenny Omega, and kind of Kenny Omega to put over Will Ospreay. It's kind of we have like kind of two avenues to go from there on AEW World Championship. So in terms of that, I would say we had got some predictions right. We have. Actually we have like kind of our pitches, they weren't much kind of like our main pitch actually was Selena close to win that TBS, but it didn't happen. So yes, so thank you for hanging out on this review. So we are actually planning on next videos, we are looking at kind of Road to All In and all the predictions. We are looking at draft one of the match card, then we are kind of editing the draft as we go on. Yes, so we're gonna doing more on that. So thank you for hanging out, and see you later.